Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mar. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that I have been collecting books nonstop and I have run into the issue in that I literally have no room for books. But guess what I just got today? I just got my new bookshelf right here, which I'm so excited to fill up. I have needed this for quite some time now, and so I'm so excited to start and decorate this and all that. For this video, we're going to do a quick bookshelf organization. So I'm actually going to take you to my other room and walk you through how I have my bookshelves already organized. I'm not going to take all of the books off my bookshelf and all that and do like this whole Tetris thing because that's just a lot of work. I already kind of have a idea of how I want to rearrange this new bookshelf. Your girl's book collection is definitely growing and it's going to continue to grow, and so I will probably need like another shelf or something in the foreseeable future, but right now we are going to tackle this one first. This one is a bit smaller than the one that I have in my bedroom, but yeah, without further ado, let me walk you through sort of how I have organized my books so far. So as you can probably see, this is not the easiest bookshelf to film just because my window is literally right there. I feel like if you watch my videos, you would sort of know how I organize my bookshelves, and so yeah, let's get into it. So the top shelf is literally just my Rick Riordan, Percy Jackson books. So these ones I think are going to stay on this top shelf right here, but down here is my more so romantasy books, so my Sarah J Maas books, Throne of Glass obviously, and then Fourth Wing books. So I think I might take some books from this shelf and move it over to my other shelf, but we'll see the vibes once I get into that mode. And then down here is a mix of different books. So here are my Chloe Gong books. Here are some Jennifer Lynn Barnes, mystery, young adult thrillers, and all of that. And then here is more of my like world building fantasy, adult fantasy books. And then moving down here, we definitely enter like my more young adult fantasy territory, dystopian, just a bunch of the things. And then over here is a mix of, again, young adult fantasy and adult fantasy, and just books that I picked up when I got into reading for like the first year, literary fiction books. And then here's kind of like my unhinged corner of just Ali Hazelwood, more romance books, Hannah Grace books, and all of that. And then just a mix of different books. And then this is my final shelf that I have full of books. So down here is also just a mix of things, a lot of series, a lot of books that I'm kind of collecting together, some standalones, Olivia Blake, Ali Carter, and all of that. So that's kind of how this bookshelf is rearranged. So as you can tell, I literally have no room for books. And also I am a K-pop album collector, and so the bottom shelf is literally just like old K-pop albums I have and all of that. So that is this first shelf that I have in this room. And then over here is my longer shelf that's more of a display shelf. And so up here I have the Caraval Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy by Stephanie Garber, pretty much all my Stephanie Garber books. And so these ones might stay here just because I just like how it looks up here. Down here is a mix of just young adult romance books, some adult romance books, but mostly it's my Jenny Han, Lynn Painter shelf. If you know me, you know that To All the Boys I've Loved Before is one of my favorite series, and so I have a lot of special editions of that series, so I might move that over to my other room. Down here is my Jessa Hastings shelf, so obviously Magnolia Parks, one of my favorite book series. I also do have some of the collector's edition books and all of that. And then down here is my Jennifer Lynn Barnes shelf, and I have most of Jennifer Lynn Barnes's books, and so I want her to have a dedicated shelf. So I might move my Jennifer Lynn Barnes books over there so I can keep this a bit more of just like a fun little display shelf without like, you know, having too many series and all that on here. And then I don't think you can see the bottom two shelves, but my bottom two shelves on here is literally just romance books. All my Emily Henrys, Abby Jimenez, Christina Lauren, all of those authors are down here. And so I might move all my romance books over to that side. I feel like that side gives more romance vibes and this side gives more fantasy vibes, if that makes sense. It makes sense in my mind. These are the books I have on this longer shelf right here. And for this one, I literally have to sit here. This is my TBR card, so these are all the books that I have not read yet, minus this row. This row are books that I actually have read, I just don't have space for them, so this is where I'm storing it for now. This is why I need the shelf space. These are all the books that I have not yet read and all that, and even up here, haven't read Alchemized yet, but these are all like my special editions of books, which I think are cute to display here, but I also feel like I want to display books on my TBR that I haven't read, but have like the prettiest covers and all that. And then here is just a mix of also books that I either I have read or I haven't read yet. It's just I simply do not have space to put them anywhere. And so, yeah, this is the bookshelf situation that is in my room. I feel very grateful and all that I have been able to collect all of these books and spend my money on these books and actually like have the space to now come up with solutions to put all these books and all that. But now that I have my extra bookshelf, I just get to, you know, rearrange everything to my liking. That is kind of the full bookshelf tour in here. So I think what I'm going to do first is I'm going to just film a time lapse of me pulling off all the books that I want to put in that room, and then in that room we're going to figure out the whole situation as to what I am planning on doing with that shelf over there. But yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so I just pulled all the books that I want for this specific shelf and all that, and so I think for this top one, it's going to be my fourth wing shelf slash other romantasy fantasy books, because there's only 3 books in the fourth wing series, and obviously I do have a couple like other collector's special edition of these books I feel like need to be displayed. Another book I'm going to add to the shelf is Direbound, because with Direbound, it's one of my favorite books. It just got traditionally published, and so there's going to be a bunch of special editions coming out in 2026, and so that's kind of what I'm prepping for space wise. And so yeah, that is going to be the top shelf, and I might add some other fantasy romantasy books in the mix just for simplicity's sake, but for right now I think that's what I'm going to put right here. Okay, so I can definitely fit a lot more on the shelf, but I also forgot that we have this kind of tilted back. We try not to nail our shelves into the walls, so it's on a slant, and then I have like a bunch of cardboard at the bottom to make sure it doesn't fall and all that, but I feel like this is cute. This is cute. This is promising so far. So I ended up pulling my Letters of Enchantment and Wild Reverence book, and it looks so good up here. And obviously, like, this one I'm going to change out every now and then based off of the romantasy books that come into my library, I guess. But for right now, I'm really liking how this is looking, and obviously there's a lot more space just for future books and all of that. But yeah, I love how this looks so far. This is how I have my To All the Boys books displayed so far. I really like this. I really want to showcase the art and all that, but also like the little special editions I have. And then this is like my OG series. These are the books I literally read when I was in high school and all that. And so these are all annotated and all that. And I think this is just such a cute little setup. So obviously if I get more books and all that, I'll showcase this a bit differently and I'll kind of mix up my shelf a bit. But for the most part, this is so cute. This shelf I might rearrange a bit differently later, but these are all of my Magnolia Parks, Just a Hastings special editions, copies, all of that. This one is one I recently just got. These are the ones that literally, they're stunning to look at inside. And then here, like, my original first time reading, like, look at this, like, these are all annotated and all that. So yeah, but that is what's going on this shelf. So down here is my Jennifer Lynn Barnes bookshelf, and with the amount of books she releases and all that, I feel like this is ample space to put anything else that she releases down here. So over here is the Inheritance game side, then obviously in the middle is the Naturals, and then with my special edition, and then we have the rest of her books and all of that. So these are all of her other releases that don't get as much hype, but I personally really love. So we have like the Lovely and Lost, then we have the Fixer series. So these are the original covers, and then these are the new covers that she just released. And then we have the Deadly Little Scandals, Little White Lies, the Debutante series. Then we have her Raised by Wolves series. This is book 1. I need these two books 2 and 3 still. And then we have The Squad. And yeah, so I feel like this is ample space for Jennifer Lynn Barnes right now, but I just feel like she deserved her own little dedicated shelf right here. So this is how I've displayed the bottom. This makes sense for now because Chloe Gong literally has a new release coming this November or so that will obviously go here, and then literally anything else Allie Carter releases is going to be over here. But yeah, I feel like this is just the vibe of my bookshelf, and I can't wait to film videos in front of here. I feel like, I don't know, I'm so excited. These are all of the authors that have shaped me growing up as a reader. So yeah, now let's move over to that room and sort of just figure out a way for me to rearrange all of the books I have now that we have this new bookshelf out of the way. As you can see, this is now the state of my bookshelf. I pulled a lot of books from this bookshelf and that one, and so I feel like how this one is going to go is this is going to be fantasy and other type of genre books, and then I'm going to make my skinny shelf more romance, because what I've noticed is I have a lot of interconnected standalone romances or a lot of romance books that are written by the same author. So I have a lot of Ali Hazelwood's, I have a lot of Ashley Poston books, I have a lot of Emily Henry's, and so I feel like each of them could probably get their own shelf, and then I'll just mix in a bunch of whatever type of authors kind of fit in that area. Meanwhile, for this one, I'm going to keep my Sarah J. Maas shelf, maybe just rearrange how these look so far, and maybe display these books a bit more, because I do have like special book covers for these, for my Throne of Glass series, so I do kind of want to display it a bit more. I have tons of shelf space on here now, and then I have a lot more shelf space on here as well, and so yeah, we're just going to do a quick little reorganizing and all of that. And now that most of the books on my TBR cart are off as well, I have a lot more space and real estate to explore with. So yeah, let's see what I do for the shelf. Okay guys, so getting that new bookshelf literally gave me so much more space on these two shelves over here, as well as my TBR cart. And so let's quickly just dive into what I did. So the top shelf literally just stayed the same. It's Percy Jackson. That's it. That shelf will literally never change unless Rick Riordan releases more books in the Percy Jackson universe. Then over here we have obviously my Sarah J. Maas section. I decided to display my Assassin's Blade cover, and if you're wondering why I only have 7 books on here right now, it's because my mom took my Throne of Glass copy and I'm still waiting for that back. I just really like the cover of this one, even though I have the collector's edition. I just think this is is stunning, and so I really wanted to display more of that art, so I'm probably going to routinely switch it out whenever I feel. And then over here we just have more hardcover fantasy books and all of that. It's a mix of adult, young adult, and all of that. I just needed something to fill the space right here because it was just felt very empty. And then this shelf unintentionally became my sort of Asian fantasy books and all of that. And so I have a wide range of Asian fantasy books. Some of these aren't Asian, some of these are just, again, I needed to fill the space and all of that. So we have my Greenbone Saga books by Fonda Lee, then we have The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, and then some other books that are part of series or, have that fantasy or magical realism element to it. All of these are young adult, I believe. And then we have some young adult hardcover books over here, and then we move on to adult over here. So we move on to my Olivia Blake section, and then down here we have Gifted and Talented, then we go R.F. Kuang, Anne Leung, and then more other books and all that. This one is not fantasy. Homeseeking is not fantasy, it's literary fiction, but it just kind of fit in this realm of books, so I really love this so far. And then moving on down to these lower shelves, we have this section over here, which is mostly young adult fantasy and all of that. So we have my Holly Jackson books. This is just like my young adult section. This is a wide range of books as well. So we have like You Reach Sam, If I Have to Be Haunted, some romance, Marie Lu books, Holly Jackson, Holly Black, and all that. People Named Holly, my One Shatter Me series book that I have. And then this is just Spellcaster, that's just there because I had extra space for it. Then we have more young adult mystery and all of that. Then we move on to kind of just like a wide range of genres. We have contemporary romance and fiction. We have mystery satire. We have cozy fantasy. Then we have literary fiction, mystery satire books. My one Watch Me one, intermezzo. Yeah, so just like a random bunch of books that I just didn't know how to organize and classify. But once I start getting more books and all that, I feel like then this bookshelf might get rearranged again. And then on the bottom is just some graphic novels and older series books and all that. So this is more of an empty spaced bookshelf now. So it's for whatever I need to fit in the future. Now moving on to this shelf. So I truly made this my romance skinny shelf and all that. So up here again, Stephanie Garber book, so this probably won't change ever. Then we move on to my Lynn Painter books, my Ashley Poston books, and my Mona Caston books. So these are where I'm housing them for now. Obviously, as the authors release more books, this is probably going to change, but I just love the colorful Lynn Painter and Ashley Poston books. I think they go together really well, and then I just had extra space, so I decided to put the Save You series on here for now, but it will probably move over to that bookshelf once I start to need that space. Then over here, we have my Allie Hazelwood shelf, obviously. So Allie Hazelwood, again, she literally writes books like she's running out of time. And so, again, as I start to collect more books, this might change. The only book that's not Allie Hazelwood on here is my Lila Sage book. I just did not know where to put that one. And then down here is the rest of my romance books. So this one is my Emily Henry shelf. This one is a mix of Christina Lauren, Abby Jimenez, Megan Quinn, all of the other romance books I read. And then down here is where I put my Twisted books. I put Hannah Grace's books, Red, White, and Royal Blue. Again, just a mix of romance books I have. This is primarily going to be my romance shelf for now. Again, it's going to change probably. I will probably have to move some of these books back onto that shelf. But for the time being, this is what I have so far on my shelf. And then finally, we have the state of my TBR cart. So as you can tell, it is definitely more empty on the bottom. I have room to actually put my TBR books down here. And then obviously these are all my TBR. I now have a bit more room to display books up here and all of that. And so yeah, that is the collective room tour. So that is the overall bookshelf reorganization and tour and all that. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and maybe you got some ideas for how to display your books in the future. As I get used to having this new bookshelf, I'll probably add a bit more decorative elements and all that to these bookshelves, but for right now, this is what we have so far. I'm so excited to continue to film vlogs and all that, especially with these new shelves and all that. And so yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!